Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, the one and only hosting Cruz, bringing you another exciting edition of boxing. Don't forget to hit and to like, subscribe to my channel. It's always greatly appreciated. Stay tuned. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, hosting Cruz, and welcome to 154 pounds, ladies and gentlemen, to Jaron Boots Ennis. Ladies and gentlemen, Jaron Boots Ennis has literally kicked the door wide open and took it to Uisma Lima out of Angola, who came in with a record of 13 wins, 1 loss, 9 KOs, who was actually a world champion coming in. You know, he was the IBO world champion in the weight class, but unfortunately the IBO, according to boxing and fans and sources, the IBO doesn't count, right? So he's not really a world champion. But it was once considered a world title. I don't know what happened. Drop your comments in the comment section below and tell me what happened with the IBO that it's no longer a world title. But he was the IBO world champion, still is, because the IBO title was not on the line in this fight. But what's on the line was the WBA interim title, which is currently held, the world title, which is currently held by Uisma Barros. I think that's his first name, Barros. This is his last name. The newly crowned world champion, the African beast, who just became world champion from defeating Tellez out of Cuba on a card that was held at the Caribe Royale in Orlando. So he's the world champion. Xander Zayas wants to unify with him, and that's a potential fight. But since Jaron Boots Ennis destroyed Lima, no problem, destroyed him, first round KO. You know, in boxing there's something called class, and Jaron Boots Ennis didn't take long to show us that. You know, he really took it to him. They got in an exchange, and the minute they got into the first exchange in the fight, both guys hit each other. Jaron Boots Ennis Jaron Boots Ennis' punching power and shot did the damage. Down goes Lima. He got up, but he was on shaky legs. Down again. Got up, and Jaron Boots Ennis just jumped on him and finished it off. First round KO. What a way to enter yourself in a weight class with a first round knockout. Now, they try to hype this fight up and sell it as much as they can. Oh, look at the pictures of Lima, physically strong. He's coming into the fight, knocking out 3 undefeated fighters. He's the IBO world champion. And I don't expect this to be a tune-up. This is going to be a harder fight than many people thought or think. And we got a first-round knockout out of Jaron Boots Ennis. So they tried to sell it. So now since that's out of the way, let's get into the good stuff. Jaron Boots Ennis versus Vergil Ortiz. A banger at 154 pounds between two hard power punchers. Of course, Jaron Boots Ennis, I think, is the more talented fighter. One of the best switch hitters in the game. Power in both hands. IQ, defense, offense, footwork. Just all around talent. And in my opinion, a future pound-for-pound star and a future he's gonna be unified champion in this weight class. Jaron Boots Ennis has what it takes to rack up all these titles. And I said it from the beginning, like Jaron Boots Ennis, even his days at 147, early in 147, when he stopped Sergey Lipinets, those days. I said this guy, he's the real deal. He's got all the talent in the world. And he's big for a welterweight. Powerful hands, just amazing. And now we're at 154. Jaron Boots Ennis was a big welterweight, and throughout the years, we all as fans were saying not Crawford, but Ennis can move up because he has a big frame, he's tall, he's lengthy for the weight class, and he eventually, like last night, he arrived finally at 154. What a brutal display of a performance. And that was the thing. Once Ennis goes up, he's going to be stronger. He's going to hit just as harder. And he showed it. And the fight that we all want to see is Jaron Boots Ennis versus Vergil Ortiz Jr. Of course, I already explained and talked about how Ennis fights. Vergil Ortiz now comes forward, hands held high, raging bull style, ripping hooks, ripping those uppercuts, everything with bad intentions. Just, it's going to be interesting to see what these guys can do on the inside, man, because it's going to be a brutal fight. That's the fight to make at 154. Interesting fight because Jaron Boots Ennis, since he just arrived at 154, Vergil Ortiz has been at 154 for a minute, and not long, but for a minute, and he's been in the trenches. Sergey Bugachuk, Israel Madrimov, so he's been in there with some lions already. So Jaron Boots Ennis, if he fights Vergil, that's his first line at 154. So that'll be his first real test. And it's just a tremendous fight. Stylistically, both guys are definitely going to clash. It's going to be a war. Man, it's who can come in the best shape possible for this fight, because that's all it's going to come down to. Sheer of wills are going to be tested. I know both guys can take a good shot. I mean, we've seen Vergil Ortiz dropped and buckle a bit with Sergey Bugachuk. And Jaron Boots Ennis' power is for real, man. Right uppercut, left uppercut, depending on the stance that he's standing on, depending on when he switches. Right hook, left hook, again, depending on what stances he is on, southpaw, unorthodox. And you just never know what to expect in this fight, man. But what I can say, it's a great fight, and that's the fight that everyone's talking about at 154. Jaron Boots Ennis may fight Barros for his WBA title, since he's now the WBA interim title champion. And Xander Zayas wants to unify. That's why he stepped in the ring and faced off with Barros after his win over Telez. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. But the 154-pound division is World War III, ladies and gentlemen. It's the deepest division right now in boxing. So many sharks. Sergey Bugachuk, Israel Madrimov, Vergil Ortiz, now Jaron Boots Ennis, Xander Zayas. Barros. It's just a loaded division. Sebastian Fundora, Keith Thurman, Tim Tszyu, still around there. Yeah. So Jaron Boots Ennis, he has a lot of competition in this weight class. So welcome to 154. You welcomed us with a first round demolition derby, and I'm looking forward, and we're all looking forward to see what Jaron Boots Ennis can do at 154. I expect him to become unified champion for sure. A fight with Xander Zayas is a good fight. I'm a bit scared for Xander Zayas. I'm a big Xander Zayas fan, of course. I back all my Puerto Rican fighters. So I'll be a nervous wreck when that fight, if that fight happens. That's a tough fight for Xander Zayas. Now, can he compete? Yeah. Can he win? Not sure. Not sure. Against Jaron Boots Ennis, man. Jaron Boots Ennis, he is, when Bud Crawford retires, he's going to take over as the next pound for pound great. So we'll see what happens. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Hostin Cruz. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys about boxing. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.